here at Maximum Acceleration, the professionals coaching company. Our goal and desire, we started this series a little over a year ago as a regular recurring webinar series, trying to bring a community of folks together who are committed to the growth and perfection and refinement of their craft, and trying to bring to you extremely high caliber quality of content and information that we can provide to you. It's going to help you take your business to a completely different level. So today's program, I'm honored and privileged to have as our guest presenter my good friend and fellow coach, Mr. Michael Maher, who is, among many things, a top-notch realtor, producing, millions of dollars of revenue over the last couple of years with his team and the support of his team. Also, his biggest claim to fame is the international best-selling author of the book 7L, 7 Levels of Success, and is also known as America's most referred realtor. So I'm privileged and honored that Michael is willing to join us today and spare a little time for us to share his top 5 strategies to increase business this year. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Michael and let him kind of take us through it for a couple of, about 45 minutes or so of great information, and then we'll take some questions as we go and run from there. Michael, flipping it over to you as presenter right now. You should be able to take it and run with it any second here.
All right, I have the message to show my screen, so I'm going to show my screen and jump right into it. So welcome to today's webinar, and Eric, thank you so much for the opportunity, and so looking forward to this, and I'm so blessed to hear feedback from the webinar that we did 5 or 6 weeks ago. That a lot of the people who saw that one wanted to see more of what we talked about, and honestly, I cannot wait to deliver this content. We're not just going to give 5 ways and 5 strategies to increase your business in 2014. We're going to give at least 7 to 12 firm, solid strategies for you to increase your business. So the 4 goals for today's webinar, from my standpoint, is to help you determine what you need to do less of this year to increase your business. What do you need to do more of this year to increase your business? And then here are 2 keys, right? What do you need to stop doing this year so that you can do more of what you want to do and get more of what you want? The last one is, what do you need to start doing in 2014 that maybe you've never done before? Those are the 4 things that I'm going to help you determine during today's webinar. First, the very first thing that you need to think about is you need to change your mindset about referral generation, how you get and got referrals. You may have had and gotten referrals in the past from by accident or without intention, and what we're going to do in this webinar is I am going to not try to change your mind 180 degrees. Okay, I'm not going to radically alter your brain, perhaps. But what I'm going to do is there's a saying that I have, is that success, too often people jump into a new year and they're like, oh, I'm going to change all of this. But what I want you to know is that success is not a 180-degree turn. Success is a 1-degree tweak. So I am not going to change your mindset 180 degrees, to totally turn it from face forward to face backwards. What I want to do during this presentation is take the body of knowledge that you've already built on and tweak it by 1 degree. 1 degree. But what we found is that big doors swing on small hinges. It's that 1-degree tweak that makes all the difference. Big things are determined by small things. So without further ado, let's jump right into what we're going to do. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to dispel some myths about referral generation. And so why are we focused so much on referral generation? Well, first of all, I want you to know that that's the key to all businesses, right? When you are no longer getting referrals, you are no longer in business. I mean, otherwise, why are you in business? Are you in business to buy leads? Well, I would hope not, because that's like being on an umbilical cord when you're 16. It just doesn't happen, right? Free yourself from the mother load, or from the mother, which is advertising and buying these leads, because once you stop buying that stuff, where are you going to get your business from? Well, guess what? You don't have to buy referrals. You earn referrals, which is far more satisfying, far more fulfilling. The core of every single business is referrals and word of mouth. So let's focus on that. That's the core. And then what I need to do is, okay, I get over 500 referrals a year, and most agents get 3 referrals a year. How do I get 500 referrals a year? How did I get 500 referrals a year in my 4th year in the business, right? With no database, with no big sphere of influence or circle of influence, or whatever you want to call it. I started with 50 people. Well, let's go right to dispelling some myths about referrals. The first 4 things that we're going to cover are about the quantity myths. In real estate, mortgages, you are thrown the quantity bone all the time. You get awards for quantity, right? Number of transactions, volume, things like that. And what we want is we want more volume, and we want more transactions. But what we don't analyze enough is, how did we get those transactions? How did we get the ones we already got? How did we get the volume we already got? And then the asking myth, we're going to throw that one right out of the tub. And then the awards myth, and then the last one is the hope myth. So not only are we going to give you 5, we're going to give you more than 5. So what are the 4 quantity myths that you have been told for years and that are actually inaccurate? Number 1 is it's a numbers game. How many of you have ever heard that? Number 2 is a bigger database is a better database. I mean, right? The accumulation game. Just gosh, if you had 20,000 in your database, everything would be taken care of. Well, you're going to find that that's not the truth. There's a magical number of touches. You have been told that. Well, I want you to know that that's not quite true. And then the last one is everyone is equal. Well, you're going to find that there's myths around that as well. So the first thing is you need to make a transformation. I told you that we're going to do a 1-degree tweak with our mindset when it comes to referrals. That 1-degree tweak is, remember, go from quantity to quality. If you are writing things down, if you were taking notes, the number 1 thing I would write down is go from the mindset of quantity to the mindset of quality. Give me 1 great relationship over 1,000 mediocre or poor relationships. That's the way to look at it, right? You want to change your mindset, 1-degree tweak, by going from a quantity mindset to a quality mindset. Now, myth number 1, I told you, oops, skipped right by that. Myth number 1 is it's a numbers game. You've been told that it's a numbers game. Well, that's not true. The truth is it's a relationship game. The relationship wins. So, what's the teaching point from knowing it's not a numbers game, that it's all about relationships? You've heard so many times it's all about relationships, but nobody's ever told you how to take advantage of that. How do you form a business around building it around relationships instead of building it around numbers, right? Well, the way to do that is to focus on 1 relationship at a time. Focus on 1 person at a time. The number 1 comment that you need to have in your mind, and you just need to go through life with this question on the tip of your tongue. Just promise me that. And that is, how do I make this the biggest win for you? Like when Eric asked me to speak and do this webinar, and do a webinar 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago when we did it, I said, how do I make this the biggest win for you? And to his credit, He said, make it a huge win for the attendees. Give them everything. Give them content. Give them stuff, right? Don't sell them, but just show them, right? And so I want you to know that every conference call, whether it's a coaching client, a potential sponsor, a potential client, every seller, every buyer, every borrower, how do I make this the biggest win for you? Biggest win for you. All I'm going to ask you is to ask that question, because what they have just told you is how to exceed their expectations, not satisfy, exceed. The next thing is make it about them and you both win. In the game of real estate, in the game of mortgages, in the game of business of any kind, it's not about being interesting, right? For years, it's been about being interesting. We change our brand, we update our brand, we come up with a catchy slogan, and we make ourselves look all nice, and we portray this image of success. Well, what's interesting about that is your image of success may be preventing you, and most likely is preventing you, from getting referrals. Because what an image of success shows is that you don't need or want their referrals. Think about that for a second. But here's the thing, okay, is that yes, should you portray a professional image? 100 times yes. Should that be your focus? I'm going to say no. Your focus should be on being interested. It should be about being interested in other people, in helping other people. So here's what happens is when you are interested, right, you ask about them. You ask what their goals are. You ask what their challenges are. And you become really interested in helping them. You're actually having the conversation to see how you can help them. Guess what happens? Your interest in them makes you more interesting. And you become more interesting to the point where they become so interested in you that they say, what is it that you do? Or, what can I do to help you? The best time to talk about what you do is when somebody else asks you what you do. So when you make it about them, what you find out is you both win. And the statement, the closing comment, if you will, on it's not a numbers game, it's a relationships game, is if you take care of the people, the numbers will take care of themselves. Take care of the people. Focus on one at a time. Because here's what happens. Eventually, focusing on quality leads to a quantity of quality. And that's a powerful statement. So let's go to myth number 2. Speaking of quality, we hear that if I get to a certain number of people in my database, then I will get more referrals or get more business. Well, as we know, that's not true, right? Research shows that's not true, and it's just not true. The truth is the better your database, the better your results. The more people who are referring you actively in your database, who has a better database? Me or Donald Trump, right? Who has a better database? Me or Barack Obama, right? So the truth is Barack Obama and Donald Trump have a better database. Well, and most likely the truth is that I have a better database than you do, which is kind of cool, because if you had the perfect database, where would you go from there, right? The cool thing is we keep making people. And the more people are made, the more great relationships there are to have. So the truth is the better database, the better results. And what's so cool about this is, and listen, you're catching me at a great time, because we have had thousands upon thousands of people through our Boost webinar series, our Boost training, which is the WOW referral system. And here's what we found, is that what I have done and what my team has done and those closest to me have done can be replicated at a huge number, right? And a number that you need to have in mind is a number called Dunbar's number. Dunbar's number is the number 150. It's Professor Robin Dunbar, who is a neuroscientist, has a theory that has been proven over and over again, and one way that was proven was through Facebook, is that our neocortex, which is the front of our brain, the brain that makes us human, is capped out at 150 relationships. You can only build 150 great relationships. Now, I want you to know that I hope that is feels awesome. You can have a phenomenal business with 150 people in your database. And here's the truth. You should right now take as an action item to find out who are your Boost 150. Who are the 150 who boost your life and will boost your business? You should have a database of 150 people. You should have 150 people that you should have regular communication with. Okay? 150. I hope that makes you feel awesome, because it made me feel awesome when I discovered this. Now, this is really about knowing more about a few. That 150, you should know their cell phone, of course. You should know their email. You should be friends with them on Facebook. They should be in a list on your Facebook. You should know their birthday, which Facebook helps you with a ton. You should know their favorites, right? What their favorite flower is, what their favorite band is, what their favorite sports team is. You should know a lot about those 150. Knowing more about a few is always better, that's the greater than sign, less about a lot. Knowing less about a lot is pretty worthless if you really think about it, right? Now, the last thing on this teaching point is the relationship scale. And this is going to take me a minute or two to explain, so stick with me on this slide. A 0 is a never met. A 0 is somebody you've never met, so there's no relationship there. That makes sense, right? Now, what happens is we meet someone, and we meet them, and we immediately start putting them in a category. In fact, within 7 seconds, you are judging and categorizing people. 7 seconds. How about that which, just so you know, it's not your fault. It's the way everybody is, right? And the awareness of this is that know that you're making a judgment in 7 seconds, but withhold your judgment as long as you can. That's the lesson behind that is don't just, rapidly judge and then make the mistake of pigeonholing them for the rest of their lives, because what we found is that first impressions aren't always accurate. Now, so we build this relationship. We meet with them, we talk with them, and we put them into a couple of different categories pretty fast. 1 through 3 is no chemistry, okay? 4 through 7 is cordial and friendly, okay? Like a 7 would be a really good friend. We essentially categorize people pretty quickly into we would drink beer with them, we would not drink beer with them, or we would drink beer with them, or we wouldn't hang out with them, or we would. That is the natural tendency, and just so you know, that's okay. This is from our evolution, right? Okay, are they an enemy? I'm circling the no chemistry here. Are they an enemy? Right? Are they an enemy? No chemistry, right? Or are they friend or foe, right? And that's just horrible drawing right there. And now you know that I'm a human being, right? And make mistakes and errors. But here's the thing. That's where we go wrong. Is that that's not where the referrals occur. That's not where business occurs, right? Now a client is somebody that burps up to an 8. An 8 is a client, somebody who has entrusted you with money. A 9 is a champion. A champion is someone who has ever referred you one piece of business. They've referred you at least one piece of business ever, okay? So a champion is somebody who's given you a shot, right? Oh, and then ambassador is a 10. My name, my tone changes. My whole I just feel differently saying the word ambassador, because an ambassador is everything. An ambassador is someone who refers you multiple pieces of business every single year. It's Jeff Sofa, 10 referrals in 2013. It's Jeff Crooks, 41 referrals last year. It's Angie Clotter, 3 referrals, right? It's these people who are just awesome ambassadors for your business. They're unpaid salespeople for your business. Well, what we've got to do, and this is the major league teaching point of this entire webinar, is if you learn this, you'll be set for life. Don't stop your relationship building at the 1 through 3 or the 4 through 7 area, okay? You want to shoot right past client. But what are we taught? What are we taught in this dang business? We're taught in business that if they're not going to be a client, they're not a seller, not a buyer, not a borrower, kick them to the curb, right? Well, I want you to know that's not right. We need to quit looking for clients. Please write this down. We need to quit looking for clients and start looking for champions and ambassadors. We need to quit looking for customers and start looking at everyone we meet as referral sources. Start looking at everyone you meet as potential referral sources. They're potential champions. They truly are potential champions. Quit looking at them as potential borrowers or potential buyers or potential sellers or whatever it is. Everyone knows someone. Dunbar's number has been proven that everyone knows an average of 150 people. Funeral directors set up for 150 people. Wedding planners set up for a factor of 300, right? 150 for the groom, 150 for the bride. Isn't that interesting, right? That's why churches are bigger than funeral parlors. True statement. Now, so that I'm going to cut it off right there, but honestly, I could spend 30 minutes on the relationship scale, and this relationship scale is nowhere else. I created it so that I could teach this concept because I'm tired of people building relationships up to 1 through 3 and a 4 through 7 level because there's no referrals there. It's like water that is just placid. There's no ripples there. There's no waves. And up here is where all the waves are occurring. This is where all the giving and the reciprocity and the generosity and the referrals happen, is up in the referral zone, 8, 9, and 10. So more on this. Now, I don't know how to get rid of the drawing. So erase all drawings. How about that? Boom! Just like that, Maher learned something new on webinars. Now, myth number 3 is that you should touch your database a certain amount of times. I've heard 12, I've heard 33, I've heard 36, and here's the truth. You're going to love this because you're going to quit trying to fit into a box that doesn't work anyway, okay? The truth is, it's the quality of the touches, not the quantity. Quality of the touches, not the quantity. So what's the teaching point here, okay? The first thing is if you are sending an email or you are sending a postcard, you can't count that as a touch, right? If you're on a 33 touch program or a 36 touch program or an 8 touch program or a 12, if it's an email or a postcard, it does not count, because just because you sent it doesn't mean they got it. And even more importantly, it doesn't mean they felt it. And one big teaching point on this that I want you to know from the 7 levels of communication, 7L, my book, do me a favor, get my book. If you haven't read it, which I know there's probably a minority on this webinar, but if you haven't read it, either go to Amazon.com and get it for 23 bucks, or go to 7lsystem.com, that's the number 7 letter L system.com, and get it for $20. And if you get it for $20, I'll sign it and ship it to you directly. Fair enough? That's me selling this book. Woohoo! And I earn like $3 to do that. So just so you know, is I want you to get the material. It's the best $20 you've invested in your business this year, I promise you. Now, here's a point that I want to make from the communication pyramid that shows the 7 levels of communication. 1 phone call. 1 picking up the phone and calling someone overcomes 365 days of perceived indifference and is more powerful than 33 emails. You can either send 33 emails or pick up the phone and call someone, and the phone call is 10 times more powerful than the 33 emails. Yeah, that may make you think about things a little differently, huh? Now, on the perceived indifference, sometimes we get some questions about what is perceived indifference. Well, perceived indifference is your database, your community, the people you know perceive you as indifferent about them, right? They perceive you as being indifferent. They don't know how much you care about them. They don't know that you want and need referrals. They don't know this, right? Because you've never communicated it. So guess what? 1 genuine, sincere, just thinking about you phone call overcomes 365 days of perceived indifference and is more powerful than any 33 emails. It's the quality, not the quantity. Now, myth number 4 is everyone is created equal. Well, okay, everyone is created equal. However, they earn different values to your business later on. And the truth is, each person provides different value to your business. The person who refers you 0 people delivers no value to your business, and that's the truth. Somebody who refers you 8 people in a year is worth a lot to your business. So with that knowledge, what are the teaching points? The number 1 thing is you have a database. You've wondered why you have this data of people and numbers, and honestly, that's all they are, is people and numbers, until you grade it, and you want to grade your database on referrals. How often and how many people do they refer you, right? And those who don't refer you are not going to get very much time, energy, effort, or money from you. Doesn't that kind of make sense? Why would you send your Denver Broncos schedule to someone who's not referring you or will never refer you, right? Have you ever wondered that? And by the way, they're Kansas City Chiefs fans. So why don't you send your favorite football team schedule to them who absolutely hates your favorite team and would rather root for somebody else, right? Now, on the flip side is there are champions and ambassadors in your database who have referred you. They've given you a shot, and there's even those that you've treated like crap because you haven't communicated with them, and they still refer you multiples of business every single year. Well, what if you spent your time, energy, effort, and money focusing on the quality few, what some authors would call the vital few, right? And I want you to know what happens is your business takes off. You get lots of referrals, and you have a blessing of a life, right? Because you don't have to chase business anymore. You're attracting business. Now, how do we know if someone's going to be a great referral source? Well, number 1 is what are your goals, okay? A lot of people know that I teach the FROG system, right, for building rapport and breaking the ice. FROG is family, recreation, occupation, and goals. Now, Dale Carnegie, and I know that some people in the business have taught FORD, F-O-R-D. However, the D is dreams. And I want you to know that I'm not going to talk about other people's dreams, and I don't want them to talk to me about their dreams, right? I want to talk about goals. So FROG makes more sense to me and to those that I coach because it goes family. We talk about recreation, right? We talk about occupation, what do they do? And that, once we've talked about family, recreation, like golf or hobbies, and occupation, it only makes sense to ask them about their goals. And you might think, well, Yeah, that makes sense. Family, recreation, occupation, goals. Well, I want you to know that going that route will lead you to goals. You're going to ask about goals. It only makes sense. They're going to tell you goals from family, maybe, from recreation, like they want to golf more, maybe even occupational goals. I would like to do 20 transactions, or I would like to help 100 borrowers, whatever it may be. The first thing I want you to know, no goals equals no referrals. Please write that down in your notes. No goals equals no referrals. No goals equals no referrals. If they don't have goals, what we have found is they are not good referral sources. Now, that is worth the price of admission for this webinar. It is the #1 filter for a referral source. Wouldn't it be great if you knew who was going to be a great referral source and who wasn't? I just gave it to you. You ask about goals, and if they don't have goals and they're not willing to set goals, then guess what? They're probably not going to be a great referral partner. Isn't that cool? Now, the second part of this, too, is you need to ask them this question. If a friend or neighbor was looking to sell their home, who would you recommend they call first? If a friend or neighbor was looking to sell their home, who would you recommend they call first? They're going to answer you one of 4.5 different ways. Now, I'm not going to go into those 4.5 ways, but what you're really hoping is they say you. They may not. You need to be okay with that. But here's the thing. By asking this question, you would know the answer. And knowing is always better than wondering. Always. I mean, honestly, think about it. And especially with bad news, knowing is always better than wondering. For example, wouldn't it be great to know if your spouse is sleeping with other people, right? But you know what? There's people on this call that are wondering about that very thing, and they've never asked, and they should ask. Are you sleeping with other people? And guess what? The answer may be yes. But wouldn't it be great to know that now versus wondering it for the rest of your life and not knowing? Well, now that was a pretty harsh example, and I don't apologize. The thing is you need to know who's on your team when it comes to building your business, right? And it's okay. I want you to know that I have gotten the answer of other agents. Do I pout? Do I say, oh, man? No. What I do is I get into curiosity, and I say, what do you like, or how do you know this person? That's the first thing I say. The second thing I say is, what do you like about blank's business? What do you like about what they do? I get into curiosity, and I want you to know I feel a sense of relief when I know it's somebody else, because I have gone from wondering to knowing. Knowing is always better than wondering. Now, this is the last of the quality myths or quantity myths, and you need to transform. You need to go from quantity to quality in your head. Pay attention to the one person who's in front of you now, okay? Quality will lead you to a quantity of quality, which is really what you want in your database and in your business. Wouldn't it be great to have a huge quantity of quality clients coming into your business every single year? The answer is yes. Well, you got to focus on one at a time. One quality client a week would give you 52 quality clients a year, right? That is enough to build an empire with. Now, the asking myth, and I know that I'm going to blow some people out of the water with this, and I'm okay with it, right? Because I know what works. I have, see, the difference between me and other people who wrote books about referrals is that I didn't just write a book about referrals. What I did is I read everything about leadership, training, referrals, relationships, marketing, communication. In fact, my MBA is in marketing and communication. So I have studied everything, but I didn't just study it. What I actually did is I then implemented it, and then you know what I did is I cut the crap, I kept the pearls, and then what I did is I shined the pearls all shiny, and then I put them in 7L, the 7 levels of communication. That's the difference I bring to you, and that's why I can with 100% certainty tell you about the asking myth. And with the asking myth, you've heard that you should ask for referrals, right? You've probably heard that. And the myth is that you shouldn't. You need to go from selling to serving. Remember what I told you about you need to change your mindset about referral generation? Referral generation. You've been taught sales skills. You continue to be taught sales skills. What we really need to be teaching people are serving skills, how to be better servants and be better in the service role. By the way, your business is called a service business because you don't manufacture anything. You're in a service business, but what's really cool is you're being taught how to sell and not to serve. So we need to go from selling to serving in our mindset. And the myth, as we talked about, is you should ask for referrals. That's not true. The truth is you should have more referral conversations. This one mindset shift transformed my business and my life. You should have more referral conversations. You should not ask for referrals. Asking for referrals, please, no more asking. Asking for referrals will put you in the NFL, right? We all want to be in the NFL, right? Some of you are thinking the National Football League. Well, you don't want to be in the NFL. The NFL is no friends left. You have no friends left because you asked them for referrals. It's the most awkward conversation in the history of mankind, and good people won't ask for referrals. You know why good people won't ask for referrals? Because guess what? Who is that conversation really about? That is a selfish conversation. The asking for referrals is about you, and that is selfish, and I will tell you, you just don't deserve any referrals. So guess what you don't do? The good people don't ask for referrals. Thank God that you haven't asked for referrals up to this point because you would have no friends left. So thank goodness. Give me a high five. But you've been told it, so you felt guilty about it forever. No more feeling guilty about it because the truth is you shouldn't be asking for referrals. Now, here's the flip side. You should have more referral conversations. So the first thing to think about is who would enjoy, see that enjoy word? Enjoy a referral conversation with you. Who speaks and works with referrals, right? So think of some professions. Let's start with professions. What professions would love to have referral conversation with you? They understand referrals. Well, guess what? Attorneys. They talk about referrals every day, right? If you're a realtor, mortgage professionals love to talk about referrals. Doctors, in fact, there's entire referral organizations for doctors who refer to each other. Did you know that? I bet you didn't because you haven't had a referral conversation with a doctor. But you're gonna, aren't you? Now, who else? Okay, entrepreneurs and small business owners definitely want to talk referrals. The other thing is salespeople. Salespeople go to referral training, they understand referrals, and they understand the giving and take. The last profession or group that I'm going to give you is networking groups. Networking groups talk referrals, right? In fact, referrals are part of the vernacular of a networking group. So I want you to know how powerful what I just told you is now all of a sudden you can categorize your database with people who would enjoy referral conversations and those who would not enjoy a referral conversation with you. So the people who would not enjoy a referral conversation, don't have a referral conversation with them unless they bring it up. Those who would enjoy a referral conversation, get on the phone and schedule a one-on-one and have a referral conversation with them. And guess what referral conversations lead to? Yes, referrals. Isn't that amazing? It's so simple. It's like, what? Now, this is a very important mindset shift. You need to take it to heart. The awards myth. Oh, and we're that time of year, right? We're at that time of year where we start thinking a little bit about the awards from last year. And gosh, isn't that great? Well, you should set transaction and volume goals, right? That's what we're told, because when we get awards for transactions and or volume. Or in the real estate industry, we also get them for GCI, gross commission income, right? All numerical awards, right? The awards myth. Well, here's what I'm asking you to do. I want you to go from awards to awakening. And the awakening is what is really important, right? Is if you, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's go to the myth. So myth number 6 is you should set volume and transaction goals, right? So you've been told that before, and most of you have those, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't have them, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's the truth. Yes, you should set volume and transaction goals. And more importantly than those two goals, you should set a referral goal, right? Because what does a goal mean? A goal means that whatever you set the goal about is important to you. It's so funny. I will stand in front of people, and by the way, I am booking speaking engagements for this year right now. If you're interested, email me at joingengen@gmail.com. joingengen@gmail.com. We are booking right now. I want to speak. Whether you're a financial planner, insurance agent, entrepreneur, small business owner, realtor, or mortgage professional, I want to speak in front of the people you want me to speak in front of. Okay? I speak in front of people, and I say, all right, how many of you want more referrals? They all raise their hand, right? How many of you referrals are important to your business? They all raise their hands. And then I go, how many of you have a referral goal? And guess what happens? Nobody raises their hand. So obviously, do they want more referrals, and are referrals important to them? Well, obviously not that important, because they don't have a referral goal. But if they have a referral goal, what do I instantly know about them? I know that referrals are important and they want more referrals. Isn't that interesting? So I could just tell you, set a referral goal, blah, 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 go do it. But you know what? That's not how Michael Maher teaches. That's not how Michael J. Maher trains. What I do is not only will I tell you what you should do, but I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it so that you can take the next step, which is do it and get all the rewards and reap everything from it. So your referral goal, you should set it, you should share it, and you should track it. That makes sense, right? Set a referral goal. And you know that you should set a referral goal, but I'm going to tell you exactly how to set a referral goal. Here is an example. I give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals in 2014. For the teachers and trainers out there of you, or the people who have been through goal training, please note that that is a SMART goal, right? And SMART is specific. I give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals. It's measurable. I can measure that I give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals. It is achievable. It is achievable for every single person on this webinar to give 100 referrals. I guarantee it. If you give 100 referrals, you will receive 50 referrals. It is achievable or attainable. That's the A in SMART. R is relevant. Is that relevant to your business? There's nothing more relevant to your livelihood than how many referrals you give and receive. And it is a much more fulfilling way of life. T is time-bound. Is this goal time-bound? Yes. By the end of the year, I will give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals. But above and beyond being a SMART goal, I truly believe that this is a smartest business goal that you can have, smartest. The reason I believe it's the smartest is because it talks exactly about what you want to talk about. You want to talk with people about referrals. And notice that what it says about you without you saying it. If a financial planner sat across the table from you and said, my goal is to give 100 referrals and receive 50 referrals this year, what would you think about that financial planner? Well, the first thing you would think, because you are selfish salespeople just like I am, is you would think, ooh, he's going to give 100 referrals this year. I want to be part of those 100 referrals. I would like a couple of those. I would be satisfied with 2 or 3 or 100 of those. So then I would think, oh, wait a second. This guy is giving 100 referrals and receiving 50 referrals. Wait, this guy's a giver. This guy's a giver. And then I would think, well, obviously referrals are important to this person. So the way to get a couple of those 100 referrals that this person is going to give out is to give him a referral. And it's safe to give him a referral because I know that my investment most likely will pay 2 to 1. If I give him 1 referral, he may give me 2 back. That's a good deal. That's a deal I could live with. All of the things you've ever wanted to say about you, yourself, and your business is said in this referral goal. Okay? The next thing to do is share it. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it in your newsletter, share it in your emails, share it in your PS on all of your emails, share it on your business card, share it on your marketing collateral, share it everywhere. The next thing is if you're going to have a goal, you might as well track it, right? Track it. Track your referral goal somewhere, either Excel, like a lot of my coaching clients track it in 2 places. They track it on a whiteboard in their office, referral tracking whiteboard, and they track it in Microsoft Excel. And there's a reason for both of those. However, I do not have time to go into that today. Just trust me on that, right? Now, the hope myth. Well, we've heard the myth that referrals happen by accident, okay? Well, I want you to remember that hope is not a strategy, which is the title of a book. Very good title, by the way, and it's the truth. Hope is not a strategy. What you need to do is go from hope to faith. Go from hoping for referrals to faith that you will be receiving referrals, that you have earned them, deserved them, communicated about them, and set goals about referrals, so therefore you will attract referrals. Go from hope to faith. That's a transformation you need to go mentally, okay? So myth number 7, the last of our myths, is referrals happen by accident. The truth, however, is that referrals happen intentionally. Referrals happen with purpose, on purpose. So what's the teaching point? You should have a communication plan about how you're going to communicate with the different people in your database. The people who refer you a lot should get a lot of your time, energy, effort, and money. Those who don't refer you should not get any of your time, energy, effort, and money. It only makes sense. You should have a wow referral system for every client who goes through your program, right? So here's the question. Who are you going to call and who are you going to meet? When I talked about salespeople, attorneys, doctors, entrepreneurs, small business owners, the people who love referral conversations, who came to mind? Who is the first person you need to call or meet with following this webinar? Like, you're going to get done here, you're going to take a couple of action steps, and then you're going to place that call to set up a one-on-one. Okay? Oh, by the way, Eric said that we only have 40 minutes, so I want to respect that. The other part of it, too, is that we didn't cover everything we wanted to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a free bonus webinar, okay? The one thing is I talked a little bit about the housewarming party system, which is the system that grew our business the fastest. And when you register for our free bonus webinar, you will actually get the entire housewarming party system, checklist, procedures, invitation, thank you, and the secret weapon to all events, the door prize entry form. Also, we're going to talk about the 3.5 most powerful referral generating questions of all time. And then every question you have about referrals will be answered. What I know is that we're going to spend a little bit of time going into the questions, and I won't get to all of them. But guess what? When we do the free bonus webinar, every question you have about referrals, I will answer. The way to do this is simply go to freebonuswebinar.com to register. However, I know that we have a 500 limit on space, and I know that we are very close to that, so please register now. So limited space, register now, freebonuswebinar.com, and you will get the housewarming party system, a $497 value for free for just registering. So that's it. That is more than 5 strategies to increase your business. However, I hope that you found value in what I shared.
All right, Michael, I'm going to jump in here, and just before we get to the Q&A section, guys, we're actually going to go a little bit long. I'm experiencing some significant technical difficulties on mine. My computer completely locked up on me on my end. But there's one other thing I wanted to preview for all of you on the webinar today. And so, Michael, I'm going to ask you, if you can, do me a favor. Go to the website, www.mexcelcoach.com/win, www.mexcelcoach.com/win. Part of the reason we put this program together is, one of the things that we often do here at Maximum Acceleration is we do a series of events we call a Planning to Win Summit, or Maximum Growth Summit. And this
is it MXL or MaxXL?
MACCEL coach.com.
Oh, coach, sorry.
mxlcoach.com/win. While I'm waiting for my computer to here.
Yeah, we're good. We're there. Oh, yeah. The Planning to Win Summit. I love it.
Correct. Now, one of the things that we are doing in the next couple of weeks here is we are doing a couple of different events, several different places around the country. We're in Walnut Creek, California on the 15th. We'll be in Bellevue, Washington on the 17th. Michael will be joining me and Coach Brad Korn in Danbury, Connecticut, just outside the Manhattan corridor, on January 23rd, and then we'll be in Phoenix, Arizona on February 13th. And at each of these summits, we're going to be walking you through a step-by-step process of evaluating how to overcome the significant challenges that we're facing in the markets that we're dealing with, and how to implement the great ideas and strategies, for example, that Michael has shared with you today, in how to move from selling to serving, and how to build a business that's built on making a difference in your communities. And it's going to be a great opportunity for both loan officers and realtors to collaborate and brainstorm and mastermind together on how they can work as a team, leveraging each other's unique strengths and talents and abilities to make a much bigger difference, kind of a 1 and 1 is 11 type of effect. This program, we've put several hundred people through it over the last year or so since we launched this project about a year and a half ago. And what the response has been phenomenal. People have have indicated how much value it's created for them. Our goal is, when you go through that program, at the end of the day, you'll walk out with a complete action plan for really how to power up your business this year, to develop a referral plan, to develop a service strategy, to have a very clear idea of what activities, tools, and techniques you need to implement, and at what stages of the year you need to implement them to be able to overcome the ceilings of capacity that are likely to be in your way. And there's some special bonuses that we've put together for those of you who are ready to take some action and go ahead and commit coming out to one of these events. Even if you have to travel a little bit, come in the night before, stay at a local hotel. There's a couple of venues available in the areas that we're talking about. A couple of these are going to be at hotels where you're able to make those reservations easily. And I'll tell you what, it would probably be the best a couple $100 you can spend. I mean, regularly the program is $197 a person to attend. But thank you to some wonderful sponsors that we've also got. If Michael, if you can scroll down on the page just a little bit. I still don't have my computer up and running yet, so I'm not able to actually see what you've got here. But essentially what you guys can do, what we'll do is, for the first 25 of you to go ahead and jump on and register for the program, you'll also get a free copy of Michael Maher's book, The 7L, The 7 Levels of Communication, a signed copy of the book. And those of you who attend the event in Danbury or Phoenix will have the opportunity for Michael to sign that book for you. And Michael, if you're okay with it, would you mind doing a little bit of a celebrity photo shoot for us as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Well, guys, this program is built around the concept and idea of giving you the tools, techniques, and resources you need to make a difference in your life and in your business, how to take your business to a completely different level, and how to make a difference in your community and in helping your families and your markets improve their lives through the housing opportunities that exist this year. Guys, rates have gone up a little bit, but they're still a lot better than they've been at pretty much any time in the last 50 years. And the practical reality is how much house for the money a month somebody can get right now, it's better than it's been in the last 80 years for the most part, with the exception of a handful of months last year. And if we're not working and doing everything we can to get that message out as wide and as fast and as far as we can to help the people who have the opportunity to benefit from this amazing housing opportunity, then should we really even remain in this business? And so, our commitment to you is we're going to work with you hands-on to make sure that you're able to get what you need to be able to take this business to the next level. And, oh, by the way, if you go ahead and take advantage of registering today for the live events, go ahead and make the commitment. By the way, you can apply a discount code. If you use the code GONAMB, G-O-N-A-M-B, in all capital letters, you can go ahead and get your registration. You'll get a $50 discount for the registration. Thank you to the sponsors that are contributing to this program. In addition to that, there is an early bird discount that is good through this Friday. Will allow you to get access to the event for as little as $97. So you just
wow.
You can scroll up the event, the page just a hair for me here. There's a button right there on that website. If you all go to that website right now, you can click to register for which event makes the most sense to you. I guarantee you guys are going to get proven strategies that will double or triple your business in the coming year. You'll get tools and techniques to radically increase your productivity and efficiencies, and drill down to specific step-by-step action plans that you'll be able to execute and implement throughout the year with the help and support of our systems and technology that we'll be providing you. So if you're interested, go ahead and jump to that website and sign on in. Also, if you'd like to, as Michael offered earlier, if you'd like to get a copy of Michael's book or have Michael come speak, Michael, if you can go ahead and post in the chat or the Q&A. Okay, it looks like you're showing the Amazon.com website, so they can go ahead and get that plugged in and ready to go. Otherwise, guys, the last thing that I want to share with all of you just is I want to challenge you as a coach, and I wouldn't be doing my job as a coach if I didn't do this, is, you've invested an hour of your time. Now, what are you going to get out of it? You've gotten some amazing ideas, some strategies that Michael's shared on how to increase your referral service and increase your referral goal today. Now, the problem is ideas, I don't care how incredible they are useless if they don't get implemented. So ask yourself 3 simple questions. What was the most valuable thing you heard? The one most valuable first thing you heard that you want to implement this year? Secondly, what is the action plan or the next step you need to take to implement that idea and make it a part of your business on a regular basis? Thirdly, is by when are you going to commit to having that action item completed? And then fourth, decide who is going to be your accountability partner in making sure that you actually do execute that strategy. And if you'd like some help with the accountability component of that, either come out to the event, meet us, talk to us a little bit about the coaching process, what that looks like, or if you're interested, you can check out on our website. We've got a couple of upcoming events and opportunities to do that. One of the easiest ways to find out the value of coaching is actually to experience it. So if you're interested in receiving what we call a strategy session, which is a one-on-one environment with one of our coaches to talk about your specific need, get some great coaching on one particular issue or challenge you're struggling with, and have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about the investment commitment involved with coaching strategies. We'd love to give you that opportunity. If you're interested in one of those strategy sessions, please just take a moment to post that in the Q&A section of the webinar right now, the best phone number and email address to be able to reach you for that strategy session. Otherwise, we wish you all the greatest success. Michael, thanks again for giving us an amazing program. And then, if you want to, I know you're on a tight schedule today. I don't know how much time you have to answer questions. I know we had a ton of great questions come through in today's platform, but Michael, if you've got some thoughts you'd like to share, or if you are going to hang around for a bit.
I am. Let's do it. let's do at least 3 or 4 questions.
Okay, great. Michael, are you able to see the questions panel?
No.
Okay.
Nope. You're gonna have to repeat them.
Okay. Let me get it undocked so I can go ahead and see them. I finally have my computer logged back in here. Okay, so the let's see, freebonuswebinar.com. Okay. All right. One of the questions that came through that was a great question, I thought was very valuable here. Was when you were talking about have more referral conversations. One of the participants asked the question, any ideas, suggestions, or techniques on how to initiate a great referral conversation?
Yeah, so great question. And first of all, notice FROG, right? FROG is an icebreaker. It's a rapport builder, family, recreation, occupation, goals. Well, when you ask them about their goals, they're going to most likely reciprocate directly. Most people, what they do is they reciprocate with what they get or what they hear, just so people know that, right? If I asked you, about your goals, you're most likely to ask me about my goals. And so what you're going to answer with is your referral goal, right? And you're going to have a conversation around your referral goal. So the one thing is to ask other people about their goals, and they're most likely to ask you about your goals. Another place where referral conversations are huge is when you're at a networking event or you're talking to professionals, is you're going to ask them 2 questions. Is I'm growing my referral business and I'm growing my network of great sources to refer to. So I need to meet with you and I want to learn 2 things. One is I want to learn your ideal client profile, like who to refer you. The other thing that I want to know is how to refer you. Who, how. Who to refer you and how to refer you. Your ideal client profile and how is the best way to connect you to a referral, right? So that is it right there, right? Because if you're asking them about their ideal client, they're most likely to ask you about who you like to be referred to, and the how to refer leads into another conversation about how to refer, right? So leading with this whole thought of how do I refer you always leads to a conversation about how you yourself would like to be referred. That, my friends, is a referral conversation.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, a couple of quick questions that came through. One of the participants noticed that the bonus webinar that you were talking about, Michael, was a little bit in conflict with one of the dates of the summits, and I happen to recognize this individual is from the San Francisco Bay Area, so I'm assuming he's talking about the San Francisco Summit on the 15th, which is actually going to be in Walnut Creek in East Bay Area. Are you going to be recording that webinar? If they go ahead and register for that free webinar, will you be able to get them a copy of the recording so that they can go ahead and participate in the summit in addition to your free webinar?
Yeah, absolutely, awesome. Absolutely. We'll be recording it, and the other part of that too is anytime you have an opportunity to go to a live event, do it. Live events are 67% more powerful than any other type of event. So perfect.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Okay, and so all right, another question there was a great question in here. I'm just trying to dig through and find it. And guys, we're just kind of in vamp mode at this point, and I think the formal presentation's officially over here. But Michael has such a great wealth of information to share. If I can grab them for an extra 5 minutes.
We have over 200 people still on the line, so let's answer. Let's get what we can and help them take the next step to a referral today. I'm definitely open to sticking around another 15 minutes. So.
Okay, great. All right, I'm just trying to scroll through and find all these questions for you, Michael. Let's see. Okay, what can LOs actually do to help a real estate agent other than close in 20 to 30 days? Now, I typed your response to that based on how I coach most of the loan officers that we work with at Maximum Acceleration, but I'd love to get your feedback on it.
Well, what did you say first? And let me I'll support that as a foundation.
Okay. Well, basically what I typed in the Q&A was, guys, at the end of the day, getting a deal done with an agent as a loan officer is a basic job requirement. Being honest and upfront about the qualifiability of the borrower, communicating well throughout the transaction, those are just the basic job descriptions. That doesn't really separate or set you apart. What does is moving from getting their deals done to getting them more deals. How can you be a partner, an asset, and resource to them, being more in stop selling and start serving kind of mindset, just like Michael said. I mean, when the two of you collaborate together as a team to identify and solve the needs and opportunities of the home buying or home ownership community in your area, the two of you can leverage your strengths and unique talents to create a geometric progression type of growth model, one where you're getting double, triple, quadruple results. It's sort of a 1 and 1 is 11 type of effect. And so if you start the conversation with how can I help you get more deals in the next 12 months, and how can we leverage each other's strengths to do that together, that's kind of our typical approach to it. But I'd love to, Michael, I know that you coach a ton of loan officers as well, so what would you suggest?
Definitely. I love your answer, and it does move from going from selling to serving is we're so worried about ourselves that we forget why we actually have the meeting, right? And the meeting should entirely be entered upon from a spirit of generosity, right? You should go to that meeting with this spirit of helpfulness. I am here to help. And you sit there and you're looking for ways to help the other. And you might think that, wow, I can help them by closing on time. Well, that's not true. Every loan always closes on time, doesn't it? I mean, that's the assumption of a realtor, is that every loan closes on time. If it doesn't, then they go berserk, right? Because their assumption is it's going to close on time. And the other thing is, you might think it's your product. Well, it's not your products. It's everybody's got the same products, and you might think, well, no, they don't. But the truth is that they all sound the same, and they all blur close enough that a referral partner doesn't care, right? But how can they care? Well, they don't care what you know until they know that you care. Well, the way that you show another person that you care is to be interested in them. And the way to be interested in them is to ask them questions. And the two questions that I highly suggest that you ask is, what is your biggest challenge right now? And what are your goals? Those two questions will get you further in the helping process than anything else. What is your biggest challenge right now, and what are your goals? And those two questions will lead you to what you should be doing, which is helping them build their business. If you can help people build their business, overcome their challenges, personal and professional challenges, and achieve their personal and professional goals, you will be building a phenomenal relationship, which is really what you should want.
Awesome. All right. Well, Michael, just one more question, and I think I don't want to abuse your gift of time here. There was one more question in here that, and it was based on the comment you made about an achievable goal of give 100 referrals this year. And the gentleman, I think, was maybe making an assumption that you were talking about, pre-approved buyer lead referrals. And I don't think that's necessarily what you meant by give 100 referrals. Would you mind expanding on what you mean by the concept of give 100 referrals and help clarify that issue?
What's so awesome about this is that the more you build great relationships, the greater your capacity to help becomes, right? So what I also mean is that you want to be the go-to resource for your community. And when I say community, I don't mean your city or your town. I mean your community is the people you know and the people they know, right? You want to become a resource for the people you know and the people they know, the first two tiers of your database, if you will. And what that means is they may ask you for a plumber. They may ask you for a warranty person. What it really means is become a connector, right? Become a connector of professionals. When you become a connector of professionals, that's when you will be connected to better professionals. The more you refer others, the more you yourself will be referred, and that has been proven over and over and over and over and over again. So that the thing is yes, it could be referring a plumber to a friend. That's a referral. That's an outgoing referral, right? It could be referring a realtor to a potential seller. Could be, right? It could be connecting a warranty person, right, another affiliate in your MLS, with a realtor, right? So the bottom line is no, it's not just taking the buyers that you hope to conjure up and give them to a realtor. It's not that at all. It's the whole, what comes around goes around.
Right, absolutely, and that doesn't necessarily mean, and even if you think about expanding that, as an originator, if you expand that network and think about the financial service people, the CPAs, the attorneys, the other professionals you will find within that list of folks that Michael described to you that are people who like to talk about referrals. Introducing or making referrals to any of those folks creates a trigger of a what's called the law of reciprocity, which is they have now a psychological obligation to and desire to reciprocate that referral in exchange, and the trust. And so a CPA who refers somebody to you who is looking to upgrade their home because they just got a massive promotion and they're now making 20% more. Is now an additional referral that you could bring back to your network of agents that you work with. So there's a whole, web of opportunity that creates itself around every one buyer. I mean, one of the things we often do, and we will likely do this in a lot of the workshops and live events, we play what we call the opportunity game. Is, every buyer that you work with or every borrower or homeowner that you do a listing for, likely that in the course of that transaction, that person knows 4 or 5 people who could benefit from what you do right now and are already thinking about doing something different with their housing situation. So creating a referral conversation with that individual creates that sphere of opportunity. So when we play the opportunity game, we challenge people to think about all the potential service opportunities that might be connected to that one individual person. And I always challenge them to think of a minimum of 5. And usually we do this in a group exercise. And what we often find is in a group, by the way, the last time I did this, the winner of there was like 9 tables of 6 or more people in the room for this workshop, and the winning team had 43 service opportunities connected to one family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the least in that group was 11 service opportunities connected to one family, with referrals to the financial planner, the CPA, the attorney, all of that kind of stuff. So there's some really, really, really cool stuff out there that we're going to be working on. Anyway, guys, so like I said, one last chance here. If you do want to go ahead and take advantage of tickets for the Planning to Win Summit tour, again, Walnut Creek, California on the 15th, Bellevue, Washington on the 17th, me, Michael Maher, and Brad Korn in Danbury, Connecticut on the 23rd of January, and then February 13th in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, shoot. You know what, Michael? There was one last thing. I see you typing. Good job. Awesome.
I forgot
By
to
the way,
talk about that.
Michael, can you clarify the website to go to for the free webinar you offered for next week?
Yeah, freebonuswebinar.com. Freebonuswebinar.com.
There were some comments in the Q&A they were having trouble accessing it.
Yeah, when there's a ton of people hitting it at once, for some reason it blurs out. It's a sequential type of site when they register at GoToWebinar. So if there's 3 or 4 people trying to hit it at the same time, it'll bust them out, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. So there's a lot of cool things going on over the next couple of weeks. If you are interested in tickets for the event, go to www.mxlcoach.com/win. If you would like more information about the coaching program, you can ask for one of those strategy sessions. Just type in the Q&A right now, strategy session with the best phone number and email for our team to get a hold of you and get that appointment scheduled. Otherwise, we look forward to the successes. Let us know, and keep watch on the website for the upcoming series of webinars. And then, Michael, I'm going to give you the floor for just final comments here. Thanks so much again for the amazing information you always share, and I can't wait to see you in person here in just a couple of weeks up in Danbury.
Awesome. Well, I say if somebody's hanging on and thinking about registering for Danbury, make it happen ASAP. Sherry, my wife, just slipped me a piece of paper where we have somebody that contacted us directly about Danbury and about going to the event, so we'll make sure that they get the information. And the last thing I'd just really like to say is you know, people ask me all the time is what's the secret to success? How did I grow the empires that we have? And it's really simple. It is give generously, receive appreciatively. And notice that is not two separate sentences. It's not give generously and then receive appreciatively, right? It's both at the same time. It's one sentence, one phrase. And what I've seen out there is people are pretty good givers, especially reactive givers. There's a tsunami or a tornado or a family in need, and they come to help, which is fantastic. But I want people to know that the power is in proactive generosity. It's giving where maybe it didn't seem there was a need before. It's helping people conquer their challenges and achieve their goals. And then what's going to happen is we're going to get referrals. We're going to get favors in our favor. And when that happens, we need to receive appreciatively. I see so many great givers who are poor business people because they haven't learned how to receive appreciatively. They say no problem or don't worry about it, and the other people don't worry about it at all. They don't help them at all. And the secret to life, the secret to business, the secret to success, in my humble opinion, is give generously, receive appreciatively. Thank you for being here today, everybody, and I can't wait to join the conversation at facebook.com/7levels with everybody and Eric. And Eric, I cannot wait to see you in a couple of weeks, brother, in Danbury, and let's rock them, let's knock them alive in Danbury and Phoenix, and the Phoenix crowd is getting out of hand. I hope you already know that. We have a mastermind in Phoenix with a lot of people, so that could be a crazy event, just so you know that.
We'll blow it up, man. Thanks again so much, guys. Again, thank you for all of you who attended today. You know, I can't celebrate enough the fact that you guys are the few, the proud, who are willing to invest in yourselves, and I can't thank you enough and applaud you enough, and I encourage you to applaud yourself for taking the time and energy and investing in yourself to improve your craft, refine your skills, and take advantage of the quality of programming that we strive to provide continually. With that being said, we hope you all have an amazing 2014. If we don't see you at any of our upcoming events, we wish you all the greatest of success. Otherwise, make it a great week, everybody.